Hello and welcome to another AAA Wargaming video. So firstly, PTG have done a video which includes me from Bloodbath 3. As they highlighted, Tommy Tucker, sorry, wrong one. Lucky Sixes, Tom Parker was playing me with his beast herds. It's a lovely, beautifully painted army. It was one of his hobby ones. They have challenged me to get that battle report out. Obviously, that is going to be a bit down the line, but I am sticking to the schedule. So yeah, two videos, two a week on the bounce. So I am sticking it, and you know what they say: set patterns, set things become more whatever they're called. What was it? It becomes a sort of standard process. I will work that out for the next thing, and I'll read it verbatim. I should have looked that up beforehand. But effectively, here is game two of Art of War 7, and it is against Demon's Legion. So this is report number 52. The deployment type was Cornerstone. Primary objective was breakthrough, and second objective was don't tell me the odds, which I'll go and explain to you in the next slide. It's me versus Guillaume's Demon Legions. I played Guillaume once before with his ID, but I know he's a very good Demon Legions player, and I think he's taking them to ETC as well. So this is going to be a tough game, and I knew it was. And in true Demon Legion style, it's one of my biggie armies. They're so quick. I think it's just mentally I can't get round where I think they're going to be and how quick they are. And unfortunately, I think this is it. But let's see. So scenario. So it was actually bottleneck, not cornerstone. Apologies. So effectively, I wasn't A. I was B. Uh, um, and basically that's how it is. So breakthrough, you know what that is. I've just got to get into the objectives and stuff like that. My theory was that if I narrowed him down, I could get him through. I don't think he played that. I don't think we either played it. Or did we? But I was narrow. Yeah, I think I was A and he was B. But I was definitely the defender. Or no, I chose my deployment zone. Either way, I didn't play this quite well. But don't tell me the odds effectively. So you can choose to roll any charge move, overrun, flee, charge reaction, or flee from combat with one additional instance of minimize. If you complete the charge, don't basically you're trying to get your jammy get points. Um, So if you complete the charge, if charging, don't end up in combat with the charging unit if fleeing. Yeah, I'll catch the fleeing unit. You don't get caught by pursuing unit if fleeing from combat. You gain a jammy win cost. So basically, whoever gets the most jammy get points wins secondary objective. And then you had a Wheel of Fortune. You could wheel on spell scrolls and try and give yourself opponent and other ones. And it didn't actually affect this game, so that was one thing I don't have to brief on. But effectively, you're just trying to use your minimized instance um, to kind of give yourself an advantage. So the more charges you make, the more advantageous it is. Now, when you look at his list is all about this. So I thought my big way of getting a secondary objective is make sure I do my fleas correctly, because otherwise I was going to be in a bit of trouble with the jammy get points. So army list, no change to mine. I think key on this was going to be my archers, uh, but also it's just actually, no, I had a complete mind blank in here. Between these big demons, I knew my general couldn't take them on. I didn't have the magic to go after them really. I don't have really big combatty blocks to hold them up. I just thought I can just pick his smaller units out, try and work out how this is. I knew they were going to be on me quite quickly, and in short, I didn't really have a plan how to hold them off. And I think I played it quite defensively, and I think that kind of set the tone of the game. In his, everyone seems to have a miser at the moment. It's a master evocation, so lots of lovely evocation spells. A natural roots mirrored scale, so basically tough to kill. I don't really want to go into that. He's then got two units of with a succumbe and myrmidons, which were probably going to be my target for, and the imps for my archers, because I think I could have gone off them. I know Clawed Fiends are really, really quick. He's then got three thrashing engines, which outrange all of my stuff, and then two blazing glories. I hate these things, and then five blowflies. I didn't realise how tough blowflies were until this game. But in short, you've got three blocky units, a unit of chariots, two characters, blazing glories running around with a miser, and some very small amounts of shooters, and then two units of infantry. So lots of scoring. It's going to. I didn't think that. I thought breakthrough was going to be extremely difficult, and yeah. That's where it is. I think one thing I should have thought about with this game, because of how much big units there were, maybe I should have blocked my archers off and just tried to batter them through one side to at least get two scoring units and try and protect them from the rest of his army. But I didn't. This was the gaming board. So we had an impassable, a forest, a wall, some ruins, a hill, and then another impassable, and there was a wall feature over here, so it's quite sparse. I think he chose to go first. No, he chose side, so he chose that one to give me a big impassable in the center of my board, and then I chose to let him drop the first unit, which was probably a mistake. I should have, because he's so quick, I'd have gone right. I'm gonna put my unit down for my army down first, and whatever happens, at least I can advance up the board. And this is where I probably should have just put my archers in mid block, punch them through, and if necessary, I can form a fire baseline later, but push them up and force him, and then basically use my flyers to try and keep him at range, and then just at least use my shooting to get it. What actually happened is so this is after vanguards because I had the narrow flank and he had the wide one. So we'll go first. He deployed first, so we had what are they called? What are they called? Not scourge. What are they called? Blazing glory. So we had one blazing glory on the left. He then had the three thrashing engines. He had the imps, clawed fiends, which he chose the vanguard. The miser, blade flies, succubi, myrmidons, and the other blazing glory. So you can see the start of vanguards because I started to move out. So the way I had it was I had the narrow deployment with bottleneck. I had my kestrels here, which then moved that way. Two archers, kestrels, wild huntsman with the lord, briar maidens, and eagles. Now my thought was I could use the archers here to try and pick off these and probably shoot some of this, while the kestrels just kept them at bay, and this side just kept these open. Now, because of the impassable there, what I actually should have done is pick a side, and I didn't. I've got lots of flying models. I can charge over my units, and I can just basically sit there and shoot. So what I should have done is just put both my archers on this side to have a look at the glazing glory, them and the imps, with my flyers probably over here somewhere. I've got my wild huntsman here or wild huntsman still there to zone all this area, and that's what I should have done in hindsight. Wonderful thing. Show Guillaume's a good player, and what he's going to do now is I've spread out. I'm quite thin on the ground. He can concentrate his force, and he's so quick. He's just going to do that. So that is exactly what happened. So you can see the clawed fiends come right up in my face, followed with the supporting blight flies and misers. He's got his two scoring units coming down with the blazing glory ahead. And then on the other side, he's got his blazing glory coming right up because it's out of Arkham, Wild Huntsman on the left with his thrashing engines, and then the imps in range of the Wild Huntsman. So he's going to shoot, and then he's going to bug out. He does. I think we missed my turn one actually. I don't know. Maybe we shot a few things off, but either way. Um, oh, maybe no. Maybe his blade flies were closer in, or maybe I moved all my kestrels the one. But either way, I think he had his blade flies further on. I don't think he properly moved them yet. So they were there on my turn. I charged in. This was a mistake. I did not realize how tough blade flies are. I thought I would have a go at them, but I didn't understand fully how much they would hit back with all their stuff. So we'll see on that. But I did use I got a few points from this, so I did risk it on because I knew he wouldn't be able to run. So I did that. So as you can see here, so otherwise my line pretty much moves back. So I was going to concentrate my archers into his clawed fiends, and I was just I'd got my briar maidens around, just start plinking some wounds on the left there off that blazing glory, and then just try to zone him with the rest of the army. On that side, just try and bring those thrashing engines into a trap and try and use my mobility. But it's this where I was like, I really need my archers over on the left to start plinking stuff on thrashing engines and everything else to force him to come to range of me, because actually he outshoots me on the left with the imps and the magic, and on the right he's got more combat than me, so I've kind of screwed that one up. I managed to put a wound with Swarm of Insects on the Blazing Glory, so it's a good start on there. And then in combat, I mean, they've got 4 hit points apiece, so I took off 13 hit points there because there's a wound marker at the back there. but then he's taken off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 5 to 10. So I've killed more wounds, so I win combat, I've charged, etc. But it's not that much. And yeah, now I'm going to lose this grind, and I'm surrounded. So I've lost both my Kestrel units pretty much turn 2. So this is where that jammy git things comes in. So he firstly charges his blazing glory at my archers here, and I'm like, right, they're going to lose. He's either going to get a jammy git point or and kill the unit. Well, maybe. I don't think he'd have broken them, so maybe I could have gone around. But actually, I decided to flee off the table. In hindsight, maybe I could have stuck there because I've got the BSB over this side, so they're not going to run away immediately. But that was my thing. In essence, he redirects. He doesn't redirect. He goes into there, or maybe they were in combat. But either way, he charges succumbe into this Kestrel unit as well. So on top of them, both units are going to die probably this turn. He has also charged his Clawed Fiends into this archer block here. They're actually in contact. Otherwise, he's moved his Threshing Engines and Blazing Glory out of the way of the Briar Maidens here, and he's just lined them all up because he's got a Spear of Infinity there plus their shots at the unit there, at the Briar Maidens. So he's just going to concentrate on them this turn, while his Miser is lined up. I think he can do a flanked shot on the Huntsman, but more I think he's supporting here in case these need support. You can see how powerful my shooting was. So this is the thing. They're only res 4, those Clawed Fiends. I've already done 3. Like, they've got 3 wounds apiece. I've already done that. So actually, I could have played this better. My shooting is really, really powerful. And yeah, I just spread my army out, and you can see my Kestrels are about to be nobbled. I've lost one archer block. I'm about to lose my other archer block, probably my BSB, at least the next couple of turns. And then I'm going to have some very unshooting. My Brahmin is about to be taken seriously off. And then by turn 3, I'm going to have pretty much my Huntsman, my Lord, my Eagles, and I'm going to be outranged by everything. I'm just going to play a defensive battle. In Magic, he kills off 3. No, that doesn't make sense. I think this was shooting initially. But in short, in the whole thing, between the magic and the shooting, he managed to kill the whole unit off. And then in combat here, you can see he's already overrun on my Kestrels. I've killed pretty much nothing. Maybe I got another wound off on the Blade and then you can see him start to do the work. But I have done 4 wounds to his Clawed Fiends with the Archer block, so and the BSB. So it is starting to have an impact to me. And this is where I could have, if I'd had that Archer block for another turn, I could have charged in another bit. So yeah, maybe I could have done some more damage here, but it's curtains to those archers shortly. So certainly on my turn, you can see I've sort of realigned over to this way. So what I'm trying to do is just get my Eagles and Forest Lord alive and just try and keep them as far back as possible without getting charged. I see I've killed another Clawed Fiend, so he's only got 2 wounds left, and I've still got that unit there. So hopefully I can maybe I can just about kill that, they get the 2 wounds off that last one before they get nobbled by the Blateflies. See, he's charged the Blateflies and the Blazing Glory, and so that's probably curtains. That probably means I haven't got enough attacks purely on the Clawed Fiends just to kill him off. And you can see his 2 scoring units are there and there. And otherwise, he's just pivoting his entire army to box in my other units and see whether we can get those points as well. Right, you're going to see in the pictures here. This is why it wasn't that great for me. They die to a person. I don't kill the last 2 units off the Clawed Fiend, and that's my BSB dead. And you can see he's just surrounding me now. So you're just going to see turns from his where he's boxed me in, and I'm just trying to play out and just keep them. So you see him starting to pick off the Great Eagles, and I'm just trying to minimize the flank shots. I cannot stop them. Between the Clawed Fiends and the Miser, there is a Spear of Infinity somewhere on my flank, and it's just difficult to do. You can see he's moved his Scourge in to the bottom, so this is my dead pile, just for reference. So that otherwise he's got them all surrounded me. He's got some other units here that are just blocking me off, so I can't even turn here and take on the Blazing Glory because I'll get countercharged. So I'm pretty much trying to stop this getting a flank, these 2 getting flank charges, and these 2, the Miser and these shooting me off with evocation and stuff. As you can see, I've just boxed in here, so I've got he's blocking off the Blazing Glory. See that? I've then got the Wild Huntsman and the Eagles there with my Lord. But that is me taking them off. Actually, that is turn 5, just to emphasise, but that's also his turn 6 as well. So on his turn 6, he managed to take off the Great Eagles. And then he leaves it at that, and that's pretty much my game. So I know I shortened one, but I think let's just talk a bit about the beginning. I mean, this was my second game of playing a very good opponent and of 3.0, but I think let's take this because we didn't know where he was deploying initially. Now, I should have thought I've got this big impassable terrain in there. I can split my force, but I cannot split my archers away from my main force. They've got my BSB in, and they must be alongside my cavalry. My flyers can do it. So what I should have done was had my wild huntsmen and my archers together at somewhere. That was it. And I should have picked a side. Then I can have my kestrels one place or the other, depending on where they were. But because of where I knew they were and the range of some of his stuff, what I should have done was wild huntsmen probably where they were. A unit of kestrels there. In fact, I should have just put both kestrels here to tangle with Blazing Glory on this side and some other bits. With the Briar Maiden, actually, yeah, no, Wild Huntsman, Briar Maidens, 2 units of them, and then just all my Eagles and Kestrels over here supporting. I should just shot with all my archers, trying to push him back and just let him score the objective. I'd have probably lost by quite a bit, probably a 15-5 maybe or something like that, but I'd have got 5 points in there and I'd have pushed him back. And I'd have at least retained a larger amount of my combat power. I just am outranged in terms of distance. I don't have as many combat units. He's very, very focused, but he had enough shooting to pick off. So my combat side of the thing, he picked off with shooting and negated it without ranging it with those thrashing engines. And then other side, he just overran them, and it was just really poor play for myself. So yeah, but otherwise, really good fun game. Sorry, I'll just really fun game, and it kind of goes this: I killed 250 points, so it was half points for the Clawed Fiends. He pretty much killed my entire army minus the Wild Huntsman and the Lord. And he got both primary and secondary objective as well. So just him. So it was a 20-0 to the Demon Legions game. Really well played. I think he got up there on this tournament. He must have been quite close. But not a good start for the second game, but learned a lot. I've got to remember that with Demon Legions. My first thought with Demon Legions is these guys are going to be in my face. Therefore, I need to go and get board possession and play aggressively, put them back off the back foot. Because if I let them come from the back foot, then I'm going to be sunk. So yeah. Right, before I move on to that, that is the unit I've painted. I've finally done it. Woo! I've painted another unit at last. It's taken me forever. I've now got 10 Devastators with las cannons to do. In true style, yeah, Saturnine has come out, or coming out at the moment, so I'll be not doing that. My eventual thing, I will have some Horus Heresy battle reports on, but it's actually been quite nice to paint them. So I've painted one of the units. I've got another unit of las cannons and a Land Raider paint, and then probably some other bits. And then my intent is to give myself a month for these Forest Guard to go in the Winter Army. So I'm intending to use Forest Guard in the Winter Army because I think in my core choice, Forest Guard for the Winter Army because there's still no trees, and then Dryads for my Summer Armies. You'll see in the Bloodbath, I'm using my Summer Sylvanels at the moment, and they've done really well at Bloodbath actually for how good. I got my Dragon out again. It was really, really good fun. Especially you have a look at Tom Parker's game, the PT. Have a look at Proxy Table Gaming. They put up a brilliant battle report for our game, and I'll put ours up in due course from my point of view, and I'll obviously link that one in. But you're gonna have to wait, or I recommend going on the channel. They do a great between him and Hyper G. They do a great one, and it was really good to play another someone as nice as Tom. It really is good. And I fully recommend. I'm not just saying that because it was Reading, it's my home ground, but I fully recommend Bloodbath. The way we run it is just a breath of fresh air. It's something different. I really like the one days because the next day I could go to a children's birthday party. Obviously, my own child was there. I didn't just turn up randomly, and we were invited. Um, so I can still spend the weekend with the family. So the scene is changing. We're all becoming parents. life has different priorities. So I think the more one days we have around the country is a really good idea. They don't have to be big, large ones, but they definitely, I think, keep the scene alive. We can all still meet up with mates, roll some dice, have a bit of fun. But otherwise, thank you very much, and I hope you have a rest of a good weekend. And next week I'll give another battle report.